Every day, we have the ability and opportunity to create a more accepting world by actively coming together and living inclusively.
Even small acts of inclusion can have a big impact on making others feel loved and accepted.
Bias and discrimination are some of the most pressing issues facing our nation. While the vast majority of Americans consider themselves unprejudiced, many of us unintentionally make snap judgments about people based on what we see, whether it's race, age, gender, religion, sexuality, or ability.
Because most people don't see themselves as part of the problem, they don't recognize that they can be part of the solution.
Before anything else, we're all human.
You can start a conversation to create deeper connections.
Consider whose voices are and are not represented.
Ask yourself if you've ever found yourself staring at people with disabilities or looking away and making them feel invisible.
Learn how you can come together at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Parker, and I use they, them pronouns.
And I'm Mike, and I am he, him, and whatever else fits. And this is the Graphic Novel Podcast. Welcome to our show.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah, this is a show where we read graphic novels or sometimes some short comics, zines, things like that. And then we do a review discussion, and we can talk about a lot of different things on this show.
Sometimes we talk about divorce. Sometimes we talk about abortion. A lot of times we talk about queer issues.
We have kids and relationships, all different kinds of stuff. So, yeah. So it's a cool show, and we're glad you're listening. And if you like our show, we'd appreciate if you go to
Twitter, go to Apple Podcasts, and give us a great rating. And if you leave a review, we may read it on the air.
And if you visit us at anchor.fm, Graphic Novel Podcast, you can actually leave a voice message that we can play on the air.
That's exciting. Do you remember growing up and hearing your voice, thinking how cool it would be to hear your voice on the radio? Yeah.
All right. Well, and on to today's show.
Hey, Mike. How you doing this week?
Hello, Parker. I'm doing great. Doing great. Little vacation. Just let's see, I only worked 2 days this week.
I know you're so thrilled about one extra day off. I wish that
It's one extra now, but I've got the whole weekend.
I know, but
too.
today you're like,
that's 3
like,
extra days.
I'm off tomorrow.
I know.
And I'm like, I know. Are you going to stay up past 8 p.m. tonight?
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. You know, when you get up at 4:30 every day, your brain and body. For me, it just
You're going to be one of those old people that are going to dinner at 4 p.m.
You know, I always thought that was weird, but
that's who you're going to be.
I'm going to be there. I'm on to prime rib at 4 p.m.
I don't think I've never seen you order a prime rib. Is that going to happen in your old age?
We went out for steak once. Good steak.
Once.
The business.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was good steak.
It was good. It was
At the
expensive steak at
Buffalo
like
Chop House, right?
$15 a person.
$50?
Yeah, I think we spent over close to $200 for the three of us.
It was really nice.
It was good. And the business paid for it.
It's so much good that business did for us.
It was a write-off. It was a write-off.
Who wrote it off?
And we wrote it off.
How do you write it off?
Okay. And if you've watched Schitt's Creek, then you know what that is a reference to, because Parker's become a huge fan of Schitt's Creek. And
it was so really exciting when I saw that I have the same birthday as Dan Levy.
And we have the same living room furniture as
Ted. I was waiting to see if you would remember his name or not.
Yeah, I don't have a clue.
You get so mad at me that you see the same episode over and over again.
I know. It's like I walk in the room and that episode, I'm like, what? I've seen this episode.
I just watched this yesterday. No, you didn't.
And then it's time to go to work and it's like, wait. I haven't seen this episode
yet. Yeah.
But anyhow.
Anyway.
Yep. It is our second last show of 2019. Next week, we'll be doing our top 3 in no particular order. We're going to do. It's going to be just the 3 books that we read so
Favorites.
far that were our favorites.
I only have one so far that I know definitively will be there.
Yeah. I have one definite one. I think that one is going to be the same for both of us.
Yeah.
It's for the content more than anything.
Yeah, we're not like discussing and I mean, I don't really know which ones Mike has.
Yeah, I don't know what we're
chosen.
going to do. We'll find out what we do when we do it. But
we try to be fresh for the shows.
Fresh. Yeah.
Fresh.
This week, though, we've got 3 different things we're going to talk about. We're going to be talking about a book by Abraham Diaz, book by Colleen Frakes, and then another one that we'll talk about first. Actually, we got a DM. He's already in my DMs.
I know. I wanna sing Lizzo every
in
time.
my DM. And he
don't. We'll get like calls from the lawyer. Cease and desist.
Yeah, exactly. Oh,
we probably shouldn't have said the SC either. Got the Canadian government on top of us.
But before that, before I get to that, I have uploaded. I only have a couple more left. Uploaded our episodes to YouTube.
Mike has been so busy. You guys.
So we'll have all of our episodes will be available on YouTube also, because that's a weird when we had our beer podcast, we found out that there were people that listened to podcasts.
Well, remember my brother did a couple of them that he made the visuals to go along with them too. Remember?
No, I don't.
You don't remember that?
I don't remember.
He worked really hard on that.
I don't remember. Did I even see it?
Wait, was it I'm sorry, it wasn't the beer podcast.
Mm-hmm.
It was for the political podcast we did.
Oh, yeah, the one it's hidden. Nobody knows.
Shall remain nameless.
Shall remain nameless. And we use different names too.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yes. Anyhow, so that so all of our episodes will be on YouTube. So if you know anybody that prefers to listen to podcasts through YouTube, that is going to be.
Why do people do that? Do they get like free?
I don't know. I guess
unlimited data. I guess if you have unlimited data, then you can listen. Because that's when I listen to most of my podcasts is in the car.
Yeah.
Which I mean, some people have Wi-Fi in their car, but then you're using up those precious gigs.
Right. Okay, so we got this DM that said, "Hey, you want to check out?"
I can't hear DM without thinking. I can't do it.
Check out this new book, and I looked, and I'm like, well, it's not something we usually do, but since you contacted us, I'll check it out. And what it is it's from Serialbox.com, Serial box, and what it is they're serialized stories, and they're audio, but you have all of the text also, and it costs money. The first episode of this one, Marvel's Thor, Metal Gods, you can listen to the first episode for free at Serialbox.com. And basically what it is, the episode 1 is says that, let's see, in 1980s London, Loki plays lead guitar as only a demigod can. A cursed crown finds a new master somewhere out in the cosmos. Thor answers a tiger's summons. Okay, so I listened to it. It's like 25 minutes long. And I listen to, on a regular basis, old radio shows. I think I've mentioned this before. Old 40s, 50s radio shows, primarily detective shows. I like that format. I like that genre.
It's really strange.
It is. And I just love it. Well, I love the Sherlock Holmes. I love Law and Order. I do like detective
You're
shows.
A strange person.
I am
okay.
strange.
It's okay. Strange is good.
I am.
Anyway, go ahead.
But so that's what I listen to, and I love listening to them. I listen to them on the way to work, on the way home, so I can listen to like an episode.
So this kind of had the same kind of feel?
It had a very much the same feel. It's got background music. It's got different voices for different characters.
That was pretty cool.
This primarily narrated, but there's also sound effects and stuff. It's professionally done. It's Marvel, so I mean, I'm assuming that
they have the moolah to.
I don't know if they
do the production stuff,
but somebody did it, and they did a great job.
Yeah, well, that's good.
The story is not something that I would listen to on a regular basis. It's something that I would listen to when I was a teenager.
Yeah,
because I used to read books. I used to read a lot of magazines about metal and heavy metal and rock. And I used to read novels that had to do with music and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So back then it would
I
have
have
been
a friend that
something.
draws comics about
Mhm.
music history
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
So I mean, back then I probably would have loved this.
Yeah.
This type of thing. It would have been really good. Now the story does nothing for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Uh,
I
just because it's
listened to
not
it.
really what you're into anymore.
Yeah.
But you were listening to it kind of in the background while I was doing stuff, and it sounded really cool.
It does, and I'm guessing that if there's other stuff on Serialbox that have that you might find, it's probably really cool stuff.
Yeah.
If you find the right genre that you like. I thanks to BJ for putting us onto it, so we know.
Yeah, absolutely.
That
Thank you very
this is
much.
a very cool thing to do. This particular one is not something that interests me, but
Melts your butter.
no, but it's good, and the quality is excellent. So,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
but very cool. All right, so that is that. The next thing we have is this. What is that?
Nausea by Abraham Diaz. Is there
How did you say that?
Nausea?
Oh, okay.
How am I supposed to say
I
it?
mean, no, it's okay. I was just wondering.
What did you think I said?
I was just wondering.
Wait, what did you think that I said?
Sounded like you said nausea.
What am I supposed to say?
Nausea, which is what you said the second.
I said nausea.
I still think it's a little.
Are you mocking my Pacific Northwest accent?
Hey Siri, how do you say the word nausea?
Nausea. You do this to me all the time.
Well, you do it to me.
Nausea by Abraham. Did I say it wrong that time too?
That's fine.
It's nausea. Okay.
Well, he was supposed to be he's from Mexico, I believe, and he was supposed to be at Short Run in Seattle.
Right.
And
so this is the first one we've done from there, right?
I think it might
as
be.
well as this. We bought that there.
Yes.
Too. Okay.
But U.S. Customs and Border Patrol denied his visa application, even though he was one of their special guests. What they did was they took all of his work and they sold it for him there.
Yeah.
And they did an interview. Short Run did an interview with him right before the show, so they have that online at shortrun.org.
What they should have done is also had a donation box there to donate to the problem on the border.
Oh, is there a problem there?
Children in cages? No, that's not a problem.
But yeah, so this book Nausea is interesting.
Do you think that this little red box here is the synopsis there? I mean, I don't
know. Why don't you?
It was very complicated. Okay, so I'm going to read the back cover here. It's just a zine, so it's a very short.
Full color, though.
Yes, full color. Interesting color choices. Mexico City is a rat's nest where weird new ways of coexistence between misery, inequality, corruption, gentrification, violence, and hopelessness mutate every day to a pointless vacuum without escape. You'll catch diarrhea. Don't visit it.
So, Nausea is, according to this interview with him, music plays a role in his comics and drawing, and apparently he likes to listen to music while he draws, and that helps him draw. But the story is very, very interesting. Set in Mexico City. It says the day before a 9.0 or
9.8, I think it's
9.8.
Yeah.
Hurricane. I mean, earthquake hits.
9.8. That looks like 9.8.
I couldn't tell what it was, but yeah,
okay.
Probably.
It's big. I mean, 9.0, 9.8.
On the Richter scale.
What's the difference there? It's a big fucking earthquake.
Oh yeah, it was big. And the story is just this weird. It really reminds me of the old like the San Francisco, the old Robert Crumb stuff, the original stuff. There's just this weird.
The Robert Crumb.
I don't mean the style,
miss?
but I mean the kind of story. There's all this weird.
Oh, okay. I haven't read
weird kind of stuff. It's just this. It's a funky story.
I don't.
There's like
I don't feel like there's
things,
much
right?
of a story.
There's three different things, and somehow
there's 3 different. Yeah.
3 different arcs.
And there's. I mean, I like the style. I think the style is really cool.
It's pretty cool.
I was
was just really confused about what was going on. And at one point, somebody's being shot in the head, but then
It must have been a dream or something. Yeah.
then he's not shot in the head.
Oh, I think
And-
it's a she too, isn't it? I thought it was too. You can't tell because
They're shot in the head at one point and then not in another.
Yeah, but this is just
And then-
this funky little story.
The one person is missing a face.
They're having
At one point, they're having sex. Yeah,
people are having sex, and these other guys rob the store, and this other guy takes his daughter home and feeds her chicken, and she doesn't want it, and those are the three
she doesn't want
things.
it because the chicken wasn't happy before it died.
And he's like, "Eat it anyway," and she's like, "Oh."
Okay.
And then it all just wraps up, and it's over, and it's just this funky.
It doesn't really wrap up. It just ends.
Yeah, it's a zine, so I mean, it's.
I think that maybe he was high when he
when he wrote it.
I
don't know. I think it's just a cool little story.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
I like the style. And
yes, it's very, very sketchy, dark. Like the faces are elongated and the arms are elongated and stuff. It's very cartoony, very. I don't know whose style it is. I've never done that. Even when we did comics TV,
Did you get this? What's 7,000 barros?
It says right here, pesos.
But why? Is that another word for?
Well, there must be a reason.
I know. That's what I'm asking.
Maybe they were not Mexican or something.
I thought maybe you had the knowledge.
So, no, I was wondering. I saw that too. I'm wondering if maybe they're just.
Maybe it's another word for.
Yeah.
Pesos. I don't know.
But anyhow. So
the end.
It was a.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
What?
That.
What?
That.
The very end?
I don't want to give it away because it's the end, but I didn't even see that.
Yeah.
Or notice, I guess. Anyways, it was quite the interesting zine.
That's the daughter, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes.
How does that happen?
Eating the chicken? I don't know.
I don't know. Oh, but this other one here too. You notice that one too.
Yes.
Yeah. There's several deaths in this story.
It's funky.
It is.
And a penis. An erect penis.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right.
It's got everything.
Yeah.
And pot. It has marijuana in it too.
And this is from Cargo Collective. So you can check it out if you're looking for it at cargocollective.com. Abraham Diaz.
Yes, definitely check him out because his art is pretty cool. I like it.
I like it. And I really like this little zine too. It's nice paper and color and everything. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right, let's get on to the meat of today's show.
Not the potatoes.
No potatoes again. Just meat.
No potato skin, huh?
No potatoes again.
Oh, again.
Again. Because I think we said the same thing last week.
No, we
I'm
didn't.
pretty sure.
We got to stop using old jokes.
All right. So what?
This week, our graphic novel was Prison Island.
Yeah.
A graphic memoir. We love these graphic memoirs by
Yes.
Colleen Frakes.
And this.
I'm sorry. One more time. Pronounce it for me. Frakes. Okay.
Yep. We picked this up at Short Run. Actually, I met her and she
we
signed
went-
it.
And she signed it. It says thanks. And she drew herself on the front cover. Frakes. Colleen Frakes. Her signature is kind of awesome because it's, the typical author signature that you can't read the first name, but then her last name, she, prints essentially. I mean, quickly.
That's not me.
No, I know. You just.
I used to write my signature out. Actually, when I was young,
Yeah,
I loved
remember you
hockey,
saying practice.
and I used to love players and stuff. So I used to always practice writing my signature like I'd be famous someday. And you
have
signed.
had such high aspirations, and yet you became a person who gives your signature not because you're famous, but because you're an author.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not like a famous hockey player.
No, there was no.
But you still give the signature.
I give the signature.
So you practiced all those years with good reason.
And when I first started with my first few books, I used to write my signature out, relatively legible.
Didn't somebody yell at you one time?
And then as time went on, especially to me, I mean, when you've got a line of people waiting, which I've had a few times, I don't like to let people. Only a few times. I don't like to let people.
Hey, it's
stand
okay.
there.
You can be.
So I started signing it the way I like, which is quickly.
Yes.
And I had an older lady come back and bring me the book back and say that she wanted it written out so she could read it. And I was pissed because I had already signed the book. And I said, okay. And I signed it slowly so she could read it.
You
And
should
I
have
ended
written.
up giving it to somebody else, but still. I gave that.
Wait, she asked for a second book?
Yes.
I would have just re-signed the first one. I would have said, okay,
no,
but I'll
she
sign
wanted-
the same.
she-
See, no, see, that's
No,
what
see, I
you should
didn't
have
even think
said.
of that.
I gave you my signature. This is my signature.
I should have wrote it underneath. Like,
Yeah.
I should have spelled it out.
How's this?
In
How's
printing.
this for you? And then signed it neatly.
Never even thought of that.
I
That
know
would've-
you
that
were
would've
just
been
probably
more fun.
embarrassed.
Yeah, I wasn't embarrassed. I was angry.
You were just pissed off. How
Yeah.
dare she want to read your signature?
Anyhow.
She probably has never had somebody sign a book for her before. Right? That's got to be it, because I don't know that I've ever seen somebody sign something that was, like legibly their name.
And even if it was or wasn't, if you got it signed by them, you got it signed by them. That's how they
She's
sign
one of
it.
these people that wants to go show off.
I'm
or
sure she's
something.
dead by now.
Not necessarily.
I'm pretty sure this was at an old folks home or something.
Still.
Yeah, she's dead. Anyhow.
People that are like that live for fucking ever.
Go ahead.
I was watching this thing recently, came up on the TV, and they were like, what do you, how did you get to be so old? Or
Oh yeah, we saw that.
and she's like, drink lots of booze.
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa.
Yeah. And the other one said sex.
Sex, lots of sex.
These were old 90s people.
It's great.
Yep.
Booze and sex. See?
Booze and sex.
That's the secret to longevity.
Yep.
Okay. So Prison Island. Colleen
We're on our
Frakes.
way then.
Colleen. Yeah, I know. I've started. I didn't do the typical 20s get drunk and go out with your friends and club all night. I'm starting now. Except my clubbing is at home, alone in my living room. Okay. I can't say.
You laugh by yourself.
That's okay. It's okay. Colleen Frakes.
Yep.
Prison Island. The story of a perfectly ordinary childhood in a perfectly extraordinary place. I don't know that her childhood was perfectly ordinary.
Yeah, exactly.
McNeil Island in Washington State was the home of the last prison island in the U.S. that was accessible only by air or sea. It was also home to about 50 families, including young Colleen Frakes. Sorry. Frakes. Why do I keep doing that?
I don't know why you want to do that.
I'm so sorry, Colleen. Including young Colleen Frakes, which it's exactly how it's spelled. I don't know why I want to put that. I'm really sorry. I'm terribly sorry. I hate it when people mispronounce my name.
My dad used to hate that too. My name has 5 letters, and people used to add a letter to it in the middle. And he used to hate that.
I had a very complicated name that people would pronounce wrong, and I hated it because it's exactly how it looks.
Yeah.
And your name is exactly how it looks.
Yeah, they would add a letter on yours too.
Yeah, and I just keep, for whatever reason, I'm so sorry. I feel terrible. All right. Colleen's parents, like nearly everyone else on the island, both worked in the prison. The island functioned as a company town where housing was assigned based on rank, and even children's actions could have an impact on the family's livelihood. If you broke a rule, your family could be kicked off the island. In this poignant graphic memoir, Colleen tells her story of growing up on McNeil Island. Beyond the irregularities of living in a company town near a prison, remote island life posed other challenges to Colleen and her sister. Regular teenage activities like ordering a pizza or going to the movies became extremely complicated endeavors, and the small town dynamics were amplified by their isolation from surrounding cities. It's a story that's simultaneously familiar and foreign, and readers will be surprised to see parts of themselves in Colleen's unique experiences.
So McNeil Island closed in 2011, and it was the oldest prison in Washington at the time. And some of the stories on here are great, like the pizza thing. I mean,
oh my God.
She figured out that if they ordered a pizza off the mainland,
on the mainland,
I mean, because there was no pizzeria, there's
nothing,
there was no stores or anything on the island, not even like a little general store.
Nope.
So
nothing.
they had to always take a ferry.
But no, to go shopping, they
Mhm.
would have to take a barge because
To put
the
their
ferry
car.
was passenger only. So in
Right,
order to take
right.
their car onto the mainland, they'd have to take a barge, and there was only so many barges. So like they would go grocery shopping, take their car over
Mhm.
so they could load it up, put everything in a cooler because you're waiting, for hours sometimes probably. And if you missed the last barge, you had to leave your car on the mainland and take the ferry back over.
Yep.
And then come back for your car.
Exactly. But so like
it's such a complicated life.
Yes, and these are young kids. They're trying to figure out how to navigate this.
Yeah.
So they had lived in other.
They lived there for 10 years too.
Well, they had lived in other cities around the state, and their parents were separated for long periods of time because of they both worked in different prisons.
Yeah.
So they would see each other for like 6 months at a time. It was probably kind of tough as a family for quite a while.
Oh, I'm sure.
And that's why they decided to go here, because they both could get jobs at the same time at the same place.
Yeah.
And they're like, probably because a lot of people didn't want to go there because it was so isolated.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So they took it, and the kids weren't happy. They're like, nope, we don't want to go there. But the pizza thing.
Well, it sounded like they weren't. It didn't sound in the beginning like they were not thrilled, but they were just like, we weren't supposed to move again. Like you said that.
Right.
You said that you would, die before we moved again or whatever.
Right.
Leave dad or whatever it was.
Mhm.
You said that, this was it. We weren't moving because they were moving every 2 years.
Yeah. And that's how it is when you're in those kind of, when you're like in corrections.
Well,
that's what happens if you want to move.
Corrections or,
Mhm.
look at all the military. All those kids are moving around all the time. And they called the kids island brats. Right. So, yeah, I just, it's just, yes, ordering a pizza was so complicated.
Yeah. So they'd say, okay, the ferry's going to arrive at this time. So if we order the pizza and say, let's have it ready for us at
11:55.
and be there at the dock.
You have to be at the dock at 11:55 so that we can catch the 12 o'clock ferry back.
Yes, we'll catch the ferry over there. We'll get our pizza, and then we'll come back. I'm sure it'd be ice cold by the time I get back, but at least they got a pizza.
Well, they'd eat on the way back.
Probably
Share a slice with the captain, right?
Yeah, and didn't always work.
in the story she shared, it didn't work. They were
Yeah.
there, and of course then they didn't have cell phones, but
Mhm.
her mom gave her pager.
Right.
To explain to her how it worked, which is always fun.
Mhm.
And so then she had to so they missed that ferry because they thought, well, the pizza guy will certainly be here soon. And
Yeah,
of
he
course
was
he
late.
never showed up.
He
He never
did.
showed up.
After they left,
They ordered a wait, what?
he showed up after they were gone.
No.
Yeah.
No, he showed up.
because like the next panel is like, did somebody order a pizza?
Oh yeah.
So either that or it had arrived and they didn't realize that it was for somebody else.
Something.
Yeah. But her style is nice.
Well, we don't know that that's what happened,
Well,
though,
that's-
right? Like
you're
she's
right.
assuming
You're right.
that eventually they showed up.
Her style's cool. She's
I do like her style. It's black and white, too, color. Yeah. I like the maps.
yeah.
At
maps
every
of where
chapter,
you
she
were.
shows you are here, or we are here. Was it we are here?
Mhm, we are here, and it shows different parts of the
And I couldn't quite figure out. She did talk about going to the Tacoma Mall at one point. So I pulled up the history on Wikipedia of McNeil Island, and so I could see the state map with where it was, so I could see that. And it's like right at the bottom of the Puget Sound, which explains why I was like, why would they go to Tacoma? That seems like really far away, but not if you're down that far.
Oh, she's got a bibliography too. I don't even know if I noticed that the first time.
Oh, I did.
She's got bibliography, probably because she wanted to make sure she had some history. She's got resources.
Yeah,
So that's pretty cool. Yeah, because she has.
Well, and she
wanted
does.
to tell
She
some
talks about the history and note that nobody, the people that were living there, the prison or the federal government like bought their land, or the Washington state. I can't remember which order it was in, but somebody bought the state or federal land, bought them out, dug up the bodies in the cemetery and had them, or exhumed their bodies and had them buried on the mainland. And then, she does tell that one story about the little brother who died as an infant, and they had planted trees at each corner of the coffin, and the three sisters begged them not to dig up the infant. And so the ghost story goes that you can still see the three sisters protecting because they never dug up the grave.
I do not remember that story. I'm
Yes, can
assuming
you
that
find
it's
it in
here. I don't know where to even look.
Here, I'll look it up.
I mean, it's probably here. I read this book a few weeks ago. That's probably why.
I know, and I just read it this week, and I didn't remember the pizza thing. So,
Oh, you didn't.
oh,
remember
you know what?
pizza?
They were telling ghost stories because
Was it
they.
the
So maybe it's
bonfire
not
thing?
true. Maybe it's just a ghost story
Oh.
because they were telling. That's right. They were.
Was that
It
when
was
her
when they were
family
telling.
was there?
It wasn't. It was just the girls having a sleepover at the community center, and so
That
they
was
were
before
telling.
it was closed.
Yes, before when they were kids.
Okay.
There it is. Edwin Holm died as a baby. Family buried him on the hill, planted four madrona trees at the Four Corners. People say you can sometimes still see the ghost of the Holm sisters guarding the grave to this day.
Okay, so it might be a true story, or at least one that everybody passed along. Is true.
Exactly.
But that's right. So that's part of this has to do with. Oh, okay.
She does tell a lot of history about
Yeah.
the island, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. And
because I am, born and raised, I never even heard of the island.
yeah, well, why would you?
Well,
And it's
because
abandoned now, right? There's nothing really there.
Well, it sounds like there is. It sounds like there's like a history.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I don't know. It doesn't sound like
An open museum.
it's still. Yeah, it doesn't sound like it's open, but maybe they have. Maybe it's on the mainland where they have like a section of or something.
So did I don't remember how many years after it closed. It
says a small passenger only ferry for registered visitors departing Stillicum Dock every 2 hours.
Now?
Oh. 214. It's actually still a penitentiary. Oh, civilly committed former prison. What?
No, it's not.
It says population 214 as of October 2018.
Okay.
All civilly committed former prison inmates. While the prison was operational, this is on Wikipedia, so
okay.
While the prison was operational, the island had a population well over 1,000 residents, 1,516 as of the 2000 census, the majority of which were incarcerated in MICC prison. There were about 40 families and 100 people who lived in the island, with at least one family member employed at MICC. The homes were subsidized by the DOC at a greatly reduced rent. But it's saying high customer now in late 2010, so the prison closed in 2011. The prison's remaining 500 low-risk inmates were integrated into other state prisons. It was officially closed in 2011.
Right.
But okay. Taking the mic out. At the time of its closing, McNeil was the only prison left in North America that was accessible only by boat or air. It remains the site of the state's primary special commitment center, where sexually violent predators are indefinitely committed for treatment after completing their standard prison sentences.
Oh, really? So it's not a prison. They have to stay there, though.
Right.
Well, that way they're off the mainland. They're where they belong. Okay. Well, that's interesting. But it's not a prison per se anymore.
During the 1800s, it was a military encampment and then a military prison.
Okay. But it's a very cool story.
Google's just so wonderful.
Yeah,
no, just kidding. They're not. Okay. But I Googled the McNeil Island, right, and came across some fantastic facts.
Is that what it's called?
No.
You made that
just about pop culture.
Pop culture, fantastic.
Okay, so I don't want to. Okay, so here's some facts. I mean, pop culture things. I can't call them facts because it's from Wikipedia, so I can't
a lot of times
really say facts.
They've been improving.
It's anyway. Okay, so pop culture. 1995 Michael Mann movie Heat. Robert De Niro's character revealed to have spent time in a prison at McNeil Island. In the movie Three Fugitives,
that was the only prison there. So.
Nick Nolte's character is released from McNeil Island prison at the beginning of the film. And I'm going to tell you something else, but I can't find it. So here we go. Most famous inmates. Would you like to hear who the most famous inmates were at this prison?
To, because there's probably none.
Are you on that?
Oh, really? Go ahead. I want to hear.
I can't. For the first one, I don't know who they are.
Oh, what's the name?
But maybe you know.
Go ahead.
Do you know who the Birdman of Alcatraz is?
Oh, yeah.
Do you?
Yeah. He was a bird aficionado that was in Alcatraz.
Robert Stroud. He was held there from 1909 to 1912.
Oh, interesting.
Here's the next one.
Hmm.
Are you ready?
Al Capone.
No.
Buddy Holly.
Try again. I'll give you one more guess.
Mobster?
No.
Then I have no idea.
Charles Manson.
Really?
He was there from 1961 to 1966
Oh,
for trying to cash a forged government check.
really? This is before he went on his
Uh-huh. Yeah.
murder spree.
Yes.
Well, personally, he didn't do it, but he controlled the people to do it.
Yes.
Interesting. He just died this year or last year?
I don't know. Who cares? Anyway, so.
Well, you were like, Charles Manson.
Well,
Who
he was there.
cares? Who cares?
Well, I don't want to give him any more.
No, I know. But I like this book.
I loved it.
It
I
was-
read it. I sat down. I read it. I didn't want to put it down. I loved it.
we never gave Colleen's background.
Make sure you say her name Frakes right.
Colleen Frakes is a graduate of the Evergreen State College and the Center for Cartoon Studies. In 2007, she received a Zurich, I'm assuming that's how you say it, grant for her book Tragic Relief. In 2009, she was awarded the Ignatz for Promising New Talent for her book Woman King. She has since contributed to numerous comic anthologies and drawn dozens of mini comics. She currently lives in Seattle and works in a library.
Oh, that's cool.
Yes, definitely is. And so I was looking for a few books that have been nominated by different sources.
Yeah.
For the best of 2019. And I was checking, and a few of them weren't on Hoopla, but a few of them were in the library. So we'll be able to get them out of the library. Even our library has it too.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
exciting.
So we'll get them.
We have a pretty good library system.
Yeah, we're connected to a couple, so we've got access to a ton of books. So,
Yes, we do.
which is great.
But
But
it's always very exciting. when you
this
have access.
this is a fun book because this is the kind of book that I really like because there's
It has some history.
It's got some history,
Yeah.
and it's got some fun stories.
I always think about I'm gonna
And
have to
some
ask my
memoir
dad
stuff.
about it too because I'm sure my dad knows some of this history because he knows all kinds of Washington State history stuff and I just don't remember him ever. He probably has talked about it with me and I just don't remember. There's
That's
so many
possible.
chunks of my childhood that I don't remember.
Do we need to go into this and sit and talk about your childhood?
No.
Are you sure we should not maybe talk about it?
Are you playing the misogynist?
Why am I misogynist?
That's what he is.
Who?
Sigmund.
Who said I was being Sigmund? Maybe I'm just an average, everyday PhD person.
With an accent? With
I
an
have an
Austrian
accent.
accent? Austrian?
I don't know.
I don't
what
know.
kind. Isn't he German?
German,
Well,
Austrian.
Austrian, yeah. But
Oh.
we'll get into that later.
Anyway.
Yeah. So, I would definitely read more of her stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Does she have any other things, any other novels out?
I don't know if she does.
We should look it up because
We
I'm
should.
very interested in reading some more of her stuff or, creations.
Yeah.
Because I love her artwork too.
But yes, well, she's got cartoons and stuff or comics on her website.
Did she talk about the 10 years, how frequently? It didn't seem like she really talked a lot about.
Oh,
That was the other thing.
they went back.
Middle school and high school.
They went
Oh,
back,
yeah.
too.
Oh my God. We didn't even talk about that.
Yeah.
They went back for the closing ceremony and
Mhm.
got to and walked through their old house and
Yeah.
the old warden's mansion and just left unlocked and
Yep.
their house, the garage was unlocked, but everything else was boarded up.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was. There was a lot of stuff that was open.
Yeah.
That everything was supposed to be closed, but they were able to just walk through.
Which is funny because, well, I guess if there weren't, I mean, if somebody had escaped, they would have heat and light and everything in the house.
Yeah,
but I guess
everything
they would
was
give
supposed to
away
be
their.
shut off. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm guessing at that time this sexual predator thing wasn't going on. They probably ended
Yeah,
up
probably
moving
not.
them in after that.
Yeah.
After it
maybe.
was completely closed.
It made me want to go and visit,
I know, it's pretty cool.
but we would have to walk around. And
Yeah.
it sounded like most of it they had their car on the island, so it was, they drove.
Mhm.
It was a decent sized island. It wasn't
Right.
like when you go over to whatever that Friday Harbor, you
Mm.
can walk because most of what
Yeah, you'd want to see.
you want to see
Yeah.
is right there.
Right. But yeah, it was a fun book. It was good. I enjoyed it.
Me too. Absolutely.
And that was one of the things when we were at Short Run. I just tried to find some different stuff. Grabbed a few.
Yeah, I feel like you kind of got lucky there because it had that history that kind of pulls you in.
Yeah.
And I mean, history doesn't always pull me in, but I feel like this really did.
It was Washington.
Maybe it's just because
that's
she's
part of it.
Yeah,
and she's a woman.
She's a woman, and she, her art is good, and
yeah, definitely.
It was a compelling story, I guess.
Definitely. Let's see. Next week we will have our end of the year
20th episode too.
I think this is.
No, it's on the calendar.
Are you
episode
sure?
19. This
Today?
Is. Yeah.
You sure? Anyhow, this week we will.
Now I have to check. So you chat away.
This week we will. Next week we will have our final episode of this year, and then we will have. Okay, yeah, this week is episode 18 or 19. So next week will be number 20. That works out perfect.
I know. I was so excited when I saw that.
Number 20 to end the year. Then in January, we're going to have a preview.
Can you believe the new year is coming?
I know.
I am in shock. This year flew by.
A preview and...
At the beginning of this year, we didn't even...
No, we weren't even
know
doing this.
What was going to be happening.
The beginning of this year was so different. The beginning of this year, I was working at a different job.
Yeah.
But I had applied for the one that I'm working at now.
Yeah.
And actually, I knew at the beginning of the year, I knew I was going to be working there because on January 14th I started. So I think I knew in December I'd be working there.
But we had no idea what was to come.
Everything changed. I mean, we moved.
We sold our house.
Yeah. Bought a new house. We're in a completely different county.
Yeah, area, completely different area.
And we've had 2 more kids.
What?
Oh, sorry. That was somebody else. Yeah. And then, we had no plans to start another.
Wait, who
another
had
podcast.
2 more kids this year?
We had no plans on starting another podcast.
No, we didn't.
But I didn't want to sit around. We had this equipment. Didn't want to sit around and not do anything.
Yeah, we kind of tossed around. Yeah, we should talk about this next week.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it next week.
So, yeah.
Anyway.
Anyhow.
Check it out. Colleen Frakes, Prison Island, a graphic memoir.
Yep. And then also Abraham Diaz, Nausea. And then also check out Serialbox. Marvel. What was that?
Thor? Something about Thor?
Shoot.
I didn't help you. Oh, my God. So embarrassing.
Did I delete it?
I hope not.
Nope. It's Marvel's Thor Metal Gods.
Yeah, see, you told you Thor. I listened so good.
I didn't know what it was called. Marvel's Thor. But anyhow,
Thor.
So check all those things out, especially Colleen's book.
Yep. And don't forget to follow us on social media, the Twitter, the Facebook, the Instagram, all the things. Give us a 5-star rating on Apple and wherever you listen. Give us 5-star ratings. Give us a review. Tell us how much you love us. If you give us 5 stars and write a review, we'll read it and your name or username, I suppose, on the air.
And we have stickers now.
Ooh, yeah.
We can send you stickers.
We can send you stickers to share us with the world.
Anyhow.
Well, the area.
Thanks for listening again. Till next time, I'm Mike.
And I'm Parker.
And this is the Graphic Novel Podcast.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoy listening to our podcast, make sure that you like, share, give us a great rating. We love to hear back. You can find us on Twitter at Graphic Novel Pod, or you can check out our Instagram at Graphic Novel Podcast.
Or you can visit our website. We got a brand new website. It is graphicnovelpodcast.com. Or you can send us a comment or question or any kind of thing like that.
Yeah, we love hearing from our listeners.
Request for a book to be reviewed or anything like that to graphicnovelpodcast@gmail.com. And biggest thing, if you're listening to the podcast and you like it, visit your favorite podcast distribution host like iTunes or whatever, and give us a review. Give us Stitcher or Breaker, all them, and give us a review and stars, because that's.
Hey, if you give us 5 stars in a review, we may read it on there.
Yes, we will definitely, and that will help us expand the number of people
That's
listening
the
to our show.
best way that we can share our show is by our listeners.
That's right. So thanks for listening again this week.